Hello, this is Mrs. Duncan, your Humanities 101 online instructor, and I am going to talk with you about the final projects. Each semester, the Humanities 101 students prepare a final project, kind of brings together everything that they've learned, and it's the one thing that counts the most. It counts more than their final or their midterm or their essays. It counts 20%. It's a pretty big deal. Let me tell you kind of what it is. If it were going to be on campus, you would do this live. You would have a slideshow with audio clips and images, and you would stand in front of the class and you would make your presentation. Well, we're an online class, so you're going to have to do Web 2.0, which means you got to present it and video it, your actual, slides and everything, and talk to us as well. So we've been practicing this because we've had some smaller little Web 2.0 presentations along the way, and now that we're at the end in the final project, it's time for the big one. So hopefully by now you've learned what works, you've learned how to put audio clips in, how to create a good slideshow. You've seen other projects that your classmates have done that maybe gave you some ideas, and you've had a chance to ask them, hey, how did you do that? I thought that was really neat. So this is the big one. Now, the purpose of this presentation that you do promotes the value of the arts and the humanities, okay, in general. And our last chapter that we study kind of talks about value words, but all along the way we've been studying and learning and about it. Just recently you had a reflection in your Unit 10 discussion, what you had gotten out of it personally, and you should build off of that, the things that you've learned that about art, about music, about sculpture, about literature that has had value to you. But you remember again, one of our early chapters when we determine whether something is considered art in the highest level. There's artistic form, right? And there's value in that because it's achievement. But it also talks about sustained participation. And we keep coming back to that because there's things that we might enjoy just for its entertainment value, right? And it could be a movie, it could be a piece of music or a story. And it might even have theme and have all kinds of positive messages. I mean, I use the example, the little story of the three little pigs. It has value, right? It teaches children the value of hard work and preparation because it's the third little pig who prepared and built the house of brick that was able to withstand the wolf blowing, and so they were saved, the other little pigs, because of that. That has some value, but we don't consider the story The Three Little Pigs to be art because it doesn't have that high achievement of artistic form, and it doesn't have sustained participation. You can reread the story and you get the same exact thing out of it. And so what you've been learning is the other things outside of the artwork, like an echo of a scream, that help you understand and appreciate what it's about, and you get value out of it. The structure of music, the components of that to get value. So all of what we've been studying brings us to this point. You can think of it, you're making a pitch, you are selling a particular audience, promoting the value of the arts and humanities. Okay, so that's the purpose and the approach of the presentation. The nuts and bolts are that you have to use at least 5 specific examples from the arts as support. I just gave you a silly example of the Three Little Pigs, how it didn't really have value as far as the arts and humanities are concerned. It does have other value. Okay, so you're going to pick 5 that we've studied, okay, so you're not having to do from scratch, and say it's important. Here's an example of why it's important, like Echo of a Scream, maybe Mona Lisa, maybe Beethoven's Eroica. You're going to have 5 specific examples. They need to be from a variety of genres, at least 3 different. So, I mean, that means all 5 can't be paintings, all 5 can't be plays, all 5 can't be photos. You've got to have a variety. So, at least 3 different genres in that. So, that means, maybe you have a couple paintings, a piece of literature, and a couple pieces of music, right? As long as you have 5 specific examples, 3 different genres. And then you have to have a scenario. A scenario provides you sort of with a specific focus and a particular audience and a way to kind of tailor make your presentation. So I've got 4. Okay, they all have the same common purpose here. You're promoting the value of the arts, and you have to have 5 specific examples as support. In the first one, there's 2 here that are very similar. The first one is you're proposing actually a course. And it says create an imaginary, because you're not for real, you're not really creating a whole school curriculum, but in which value, facts and normative values, this will be clear in chapter 16, but basically think about the whole value of the humanities, okay? And that would be why you would want to do this. And then some things that the course would include and maybe be structured. Well, again, if you would be, the 5 that you would pick would be 5 pieces of the arts that you think ought to be included. You're not doing something for a whole year, a whole semester. You would just saying, for example, the arts are important because, right, value, and here are 5 specific examples that we definitely should teach, and here's why, right? Emphasizing value of the course and using the specific examples described above. And so you think of your audience, and there, if you're proposing, maybe you take on the role of a teacher, proposing to a school board, or the principal, or the administrator, right, or the other faculty, saying, hey, I want to teach this new course. But you really need to make your mind up what age group, because you need to be age appropriate, right? So, whether you're doing like high school students or whether you're doing college students, right, your selections are going to be influenced by that. So make sure that you formulate a clear idea of who you're promoting this to and for what particular class. All right, number 2, this is pretty much a college setting, and it's the reverse. Imagine that the humanities curriculum is being cut. The first one is you're proposing something new that maybe doesn't exist. This one is they're taking it away. And what you agree with it about it or not. Create a PowerPoint presentation, right, which of course you do, and you're having to give us video your presentation for the dean and school board explaining why you do not support this decision, why they should value the humanities arts more. And so it's similar, only this one's more of an argument of defense. This one is the first one is proposing something new. This one is defending and saying, hey, look, this is important, we should keep this in our college curriculum, and here's the value of it, and be age appropriate there. All right, number 3 is a completely different approach. It's not a course or a curriculum. You are identifying a particular type of person. The value of the arts to a theologian who values the religious aspects, right? Or a historian or a philosopher. Don't try to do all 3. Pick one of these and say, okay, because you're going to make your pitch based on your audience, right? So if you pick 5 works of art, music, literature, or whatever, and you want to try to show why they're valuable to a theologian, right? You're still going to have your ideas about why they're valuable, but you're going to pick things that have religious significance, right? Because that's important to a theologian. If you pick historian, then you want to pick works of art, music, literature, what have you, cinema, theater, right? That list that have historical value as well. So you see what I'm saying? You've got to you're going to target your selections to your audience, or a philosopher, okay, who's going to be thinking about beliefs that maybe are non-religious, okay? That's the difference between a theologian and a philosopher. And you got to think about why you select what you do. So that has that specific audience. It's not educational. It's just pitching to that type of person. The last one is a little more out of the box. It is, everybody's doing a video, but not everybody's making a little film. So if cinema is an interest to you, then you create a little film scene and you present it, okay? So you're still presenting, and you're presenting something that promotes the arts, but instead of a PowerPoint per se, of slides of art and music and literature and why they're valuable, you are presenting a little film that you did. Okay, so it has to fit within the time frame, maybe just a few minutes long, but if the film scene promotes the humanities and the arts, and you still have to incorporate images, right, and genres into your little film clip, but it just takes on more of that video feel instead of a PowerPoint presentation. And if you could just kind of propose it. Right, there's a difference between actually being able to create the movie scene and make it a video. Not everybody has a camera material for that. You can create the idea and propose it and write the script out and the camera directions, be like the director. So you could present it that way, okay? So just as a concept. But you still have the same purpose. up here, and you still have to fulfill the same requirements. But if you just if that's an interest, then pick that one. So you have 4 different ones. And even within like number 3, you've got a couple of different options here for your audience, and you've got some options in school focus there. Okay, remember that your final project is a Web 2.0 presentation of you making a presentation. So that means we need to either see and hear you making your presentation, like someone videotaping you making a PowerPoint presentation, or you do like little webcam and we see your image down, in the bottom right, or we at least hear you, okay? And the visual component is your slides. Some of you have done it that way, but you have to be making a presentation and it has to be recorded. There has to be one more additional audio or sound component, and that could, such as like a little music clip like you did in your a recent presentation with your music collage, or a little movie clip like I've done in my music thing with the YouTube clip. And they can be a little tricky about getting them to play. So, but there needs to be an audio sound component. Give yourself enough time to make sure you can test run it before the final deadline, okay? Which is early December. It's either the 5th or I think it's the 7th. The presentation length needs to be around 5 to 7. If you need a little, I'll be a little flexible with that, but that's the ballpark you need to be shooting for. And then last but not least, to accompany this, you will, in addition to your little link to your video, you'll have a typed report that you'll include as a link, a document that you I'm thinking around a page, okay, no longer than a page, but kind of how you did your project, why you picked the options you did, how you put it together, just kind of a little narrative of, how you did your project, really, how you came up with it, what you were thinking, why you picked what you did, and how you put it together. So that is a big deal. You've got, I'm giving you more than a month's notice out on this, and you get that extra week at Thanksgiving break to work on this, but this is going to take some time, but it does count a lot. It's the biggest thing, and it has to be you presenting it, which is a pretty big deal. So anyway, that's it. I recommend that when you do your sign up, you kind of give me the specifics, okay? Well, that'll be part of your grade. I just need to know more than just, oh, I'm doing number 1. Really? Well, what exactly are you doing for number 1? What exactly are you doing for number 2? You're going to have to be real specific, and then as you have some questions, send them to me by email. All right, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen them online before, but I've seen these on campus a lot, and they always turn out really well. The more a student puts into it, the better it is. And like I said, if you have questions, send me those by email.